Hello class, today we're going to be discussing the character summary of Romeo and Juliet, and we will discuss Act 1, Scene 1. First, we will start with some background information. Romeo and Juliet was written by William Shakespeare in 1595. Romeo and Juliet takes place in Verona, Italy. So to begin, we have two families, the Montagues and the Capulets. Already there is conflict between these two families that has been around for many years, way before this play even takes place. One of the problems is that the families neither want to forgive each other, thus their conflict continues. So on the Montague side, we have Lord and Lady Montague, who have their son Romeo. Then we have Benvolio, Romeo's cousin and very loyal best friend, and also Mercutio, just a very loyal best friend of both Benvolio and Romeo. And then finally we have Balthasar, the family servant. On the Capulet side, we have Lord and Lady Capulet, who together have Juliet, their only child. Next we have Tybalt, Lord and Lady Capulet's nephew, Juliet's cousin. Nurse, Juliet's closest confidant and best friend. And Paris, the man Juliet is set to marry. One of the main conflicts that we have in Romeo and Juliet is this concept of star-crossed love, which results from Romeo and Juliet, obviously. Love is a very popular theme of Romeo and Juliet. In Act 1, as you discovered, Romeo is melancholy because of his love for Rosalind. The problem is that Rosalind does not return his feelings and has declared to take a vow of abstinence or chastity for her whole life. To absolve him of his melancholy, Benvolio suggests that Romeo and he pass the time by ogling at other women, which Romeo says only will make him more upset because Rosalind is his first love. Throughout the play, you will notice that Romeo goes back on his word many times and contradicts himself, but we'll get to that later. So in the opening scene in Act 1, we have Samson and Gregory, two servants on the Capulet side. The conflict starts with them because they are heard and seen discussing how much they dislike the Montague side. And any other time this wouldn't be a problem, but because the problem between these two families is so thick, another person that heard this fight that is on the Montague side, which thus created a huge brawl. And comes Benvolio, who draws his sword to solve the problem and just to start peace, because Benvolio is just a very peaceful person. And enters Tybalt, who is the foil of Benvolio completely, and draws his sword just looking for a fight. And then in come Lord and Lady Montague and Lord and Lady Capulet. And also enters Prince Aeschylus, the Prince of Verona. Since this conflict has gone on for so long, there's been so much bloodshed due to it that the prince has declared that anyone that kills from either side of the family shall be sentenced to death themselves. Already you can see that this will be a bit of foreshadowing for later scenes. We will also get to that later. Since we've gone through the characters and summed up most of Act 1, what I'd like for you to do for your assignment is to read Act 2, and also, based on any foreshadowing from Scene 1, Act 1, I want you to write down what you think will happen in later acts.